Hey, how you doing? It must be. See, since we done moved, she forgot her line.
nah,
So
never
we
that.
go.
It must be Tuesday.
There it is.
There
So
you
you know
go.
what it is. You see, you can read, can't you? That is sports. There it is. We back in the building. I am left-handed. At RM Desso on Twitter, which is this right now. All right, and that over there is the ubiquitous Yada Bear. All right, gets all in your hair, and she
Yeah.
don't care. All right, so she talked that sports with a flair. All right, make you stop and stare. Yada Bears in the building. Um, Listen, before we get started, man, it's a serious thing going on in California, man, with these fires, man. We're not gonna get into the ballistics and the politics of it, because we don't do that over here. But
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna send, strength, you know what I mean, to the people out there, because a lot of people are being displaced and through no fault of their own. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We just want to, send some light to them and, respect them out there. Brasky, what's good?
Yeah, man. It's all good over here. You know, we we
Yeah, I see.
we
Yeah,
live.
we
We
gonna get it. We uh huh.
I said we live to fight another week.
Yeah, I mean, we gonna get into that. The wild card weekend. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the divisional playoffs coming up. Somebody over here has a reason to smile and grin and cheese, and one of us has to wait to next year or go to the store and buy some cheese and watch the other teams in the playoffs this weekend. Um, Yeah, man. We're gonna start off with a situation that's close and in real close proximity to Yada Bear. The Philadelphia 76ers were about to get a new arena, and they went through a whole political back and forth about that. I wanted Browski to touch on that a little bit, and as being from Philadelphia, you know what I mean. So that's like really, really, really. She's there, so she can speak to it. So I wanted to get your thoughts about that situation. Get us up to speed on that and where you are with it.
Yeah. I mean, this been going on for like I'm gonna say a little bit over a year and a half, where the Sixers were playing with the idea of building their own arena downtown. You know, which I thought was a fantastic idea. Um, but they was getting a lot of pushback. Around the area they was looking at was really close to the Chinatown area, so they was giving a lot of pushback of protesting against the approval of the arena, and with all the politics behind it, they got approved to build it. So we thought that that was the end of it. Like, oh, okay, cool. We're going to get arena downtown eventually, probably like 2030, something like that, 2035, somewhere around there. And then, what, a couple days ago, out of left field, we hear that the Sixers and the Flyers and they partner with Comcast, Spectre, and now they're going to get a new arena, but it's going to be in the South Philly Sports Complex, where the Wells Fargo Center is already located where they're playing at. I was kind of confused by it because I thought that their goal was to have their own arena in Center City, similar to New York and Boston and Atlanta and DC. So that when people get off the train, we're downtown. Like we're making Center City, the highlight of the city again. And they they chose to build another arena down in Wells in the sports complex. So I don't know if they're going to maybe tear down the Wells Fargo Center or build something next to it. I don't know where they're going to put it there. I know they got mad space down there, but it's still fairly new, so we'll probably get more information, down the line. But I'm actually shocked because I was looking forward to having the arena downtown. Like that's what I was all about.
Right.
I love the idea of being able to get off the train and be right at the arena, like how in New York when you get off the train, you right there at Madison Square Garden. You just go.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, that's I mean, the
So
stadiums in New
convenient.
York are basically like Yankee Stadium. Get off the
Yeah.
four, get off the deep right there. City Field, the seven trains right there. To me, Barclays Center. That goes without saying.
Yeah.
Even the Prudential Center in Jersey. You know
Yeah.
what I
It's right
mean?
there.
Penn Station's right across the street. You know what I mean? So, like you said, those arenas, like you said, in the downtown urban areas, are in close proximity to transportation. So I
Hmm.
feel you where you coming from on that. But I mean, get into the ballistics about like what was the particular neighborhood that they were trying to put the Sixers arena in.
Uh, it was basically Center City, like a couple
Shout
blocks
out to Skeeter Bite. We see you.
Yeah, a couple blocks from like the Chinatown area, like near the convention center. Like you already had the convention center down there. Like I said earlier, they built a mall downtown that used to be the gallery. They renamed it the Fashion District and changed up the stores, and it's failing. So I'm looking like you could just knock that down and just build a stadium right there to make up your money, and like I said, a lot of the businesses down there, especially in the Chinatown area, was protesting. They didn't want the stadium down there. But in my mind, I'm like, that will help your business because why would I pay $25 for some chicken fingers and fries when I can go to an authentic Chinese restaurant and get like some shrimp a fu young and a whole meal for around the same price, and also that will introduce other people from outside of the city to your restaurant because a lot of people who go to these games, they come from the outskirts of Philadelphia. So that will attract them to Center City, help grow Center City, more restaurants, hotel.
And build up the economy.
Yeah, so I was kind of confused on why they changed, but you know, it probably a lot of political stuff and money, and they made a decision not to build downtown. It's disappointed. I'm disappointed. I know a lot of people are disappointed. People was looking forward to that, and a lot of people who are in like that industry with like construction and like the bunch of the union
The
people,
jobs,
they
right,
was
right, right.
they was looking forward to that because a lot of jobs. I mean, like I said, they're gonna still build another arena, so they still get the jobs. But I don't know. I feel like having it down Center City would have been super dope. Like I was looking forward to like, oh, let me get on the train, go to the Sixers game, get
Go
off
to
the
the
train.
game.
I'm right in the freaking arena. I don't have to walk like a whole mile just to get.
Right, right, right. Because you mentioned that. You mentioned that behind the scenes,
Yeah,
like you have to
it's so
go to
far.
South Philly, and then you still got to
Yeah,
travel.
it's far. And then if you want to drive there, then parking like you paying like $40-$50 just for parking alone.
Mm.
Like it's high, and then like the train station is like right there on the corner, but like I said, you gotta walk like a whole mile just to get to the Wells Fargo Center, or to get to Citizens Bank Park, or to get to the link. It's such a far walk. It's crazy.
Right, right.
To me, it was more out of convenience, but who am I? I just watch
Mm.
sports. That's
Mm.
about it.
Well, I mean, as a person who is a supporter of your team and your city and stuff like that, I think that once they start feeling like they want to alienate the real fan, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because we've been dealing with that, like as far as like for example, Madison Square Garden. Used to be like, yeah, you can go sit up in the green seats, but you go to a Knick game. It's the vibe. You know what I mean?
hmm
Or you go to Yankee Stadium and pay, $5 to sit in the bleachers. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You could walk up, in the Yankee Stadium. It's right. Yankee Stadium is in the middle of the hood.
yeah,
Yankee Stadium is in the middle of the hood. Don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? Because I can tell you, it's some stories about that McDonald's is a McDonald's. Everybody know the in Yankee Stadium, that McDonald's at Yankee Stadium right there. What? But anyway, that's another story. But again, again, like you said, sometimes you'll be like, "Yo, let's go to a game," and you could just jump on a train
It's right there.
and go to the game. You know what I mean? Instead of having to go way out to the super boondocks like the Meadowlands,
Yeah.
MetLife, for example. That's an example of that. You know what I mean? Like, take that drive way out there. You know what I mean? I mean, you could go to the Port Authority and catch a bus to go to MetLife. You know what I mean? To the
Mhm.
games or whatever. So it is kind of, they have ways to do it, but what's to do all that? Well, you can just go right there to
Right there.
34th to the Garden. You know what I mean? Or go Flatbush Avenue in the Barclays Center. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're in the building, man. Just wanted to talk about that a little bit because I think that it affects consumers
Yeah.
and again how the fan
Mhm.
such as Browski gets kind of squeezed out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're basically just kind of like relegated to buying a hoodie or buying a hat or a shirt and watching the game on TV. You know what I mean? When it's
Exactly.
right in your city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of bugged out to me. We're in the building, man. You already know we're gonna get to it. You already know Browski got a shirt on. She's all prepared and ready to talk about her team and this and that and the third, as she should. You know what I mean? And we're gonna dive right into it. The wild card weekend, man. It started off. We both said the Chargers looked like they can, go into Houston and make some things happen. The only thing they made happen was, a bunch of interceptions.
Crazy.
Justin Herbert, one of the worst. He hadn't had a game like that, Browski, since his last game in college when he threw all those
Yeah.
interceptions.
Yeah. Yeah.
That Houston Texans defense came up big. Um, they rolled over the Los Angeles Chargers, so then they're out of here. So then we go to Baltimore,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
The Steelers go into MT&T Bank and basically try, but we all knew what the outcome of that one was going to be. You know what I mean? We finally got to see the Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson experiment play out in playoff time. That's what they got them for. You know what I mean? So again, we got to see that happen, and Derrick Henry, of course, did what Derrick Henry does. A lot of people talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers and what they should do with Mike Tomlin. I really got to comment on that.
Yeah.
Um,
Me
but
too.
again, I just feel like don't let me forget Browski because I got some things I want to say about that. That was the Saturday situation, and Sunday, the Buffalo Bills handed the Denver Broncos one of those losses like when the Broncos used to be in the Super Bowl when John Elway was playing. They used to get stumped,
Exactly.
murdered.
Yeah.
And that's what happened when the Broncos with the Buffalo. They scored the first 7 points of the game and they see nothing else after that. I think it was like
Exactly.
31-7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, and then Saturday, Browski's team. No, that was Sunday. Browski's
Yeah.
team. Saturday was who else played Saturday?
It was
Um,
only 2 games
who else
Saturday.
played Saturday?
No, it was two
Huh?
games. It was only 2 games on Saturday.
It was 2 games
It
Saturday,
was 2 games
and it
Saturday,
was
three
three
games on
games Sunday. It was one
Sunday.
o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 8 o'clock on Sunday,
Mhm.
right?
And
So who
one
played on?
game.
You played Sunday
Yeah,
at
we
four
played at
o'clock.
4. Yeah, we played at 4. Um, took care of the business. Slow, slow start. It was to be expected. Jalen Hurts hasn't played in almost 3 weeks, coming back from a concussion. Um, the defense, stepped up from the get go. From
Why did Skeeter Bite let me know he's a Broncos fan? Go ahead, Browski. Finish your thought.
um. Oh, don't worry. I will be talking about
Oh
the
yeah,
defense. Oh, don't.
oh yeah.
You don't have to worry
We
about
gonna get
that.
there. I got you, Skeeter Bite. I
Yeah.
got you.
But yeah, our defense came up strong. From off the rip, secretary, um, Orman Burke with that clean hit, fumble, straight up off the bat. Kind of set the tone for the game. It was a hard hitting game. Basically, what I like to call a body bag game because we was
Mm.
laying bodies
Talking really greasy.
left and
Talking
right.
super spicy.
Oh, of course.
Let's go,
He
Browski.
was he was laying them out. They was looking on the bench trying to figure out who can catch a pass because we took all the receivers out.
And AJ Brown on the sideline reading
Oh,
self help books.
he reading self motivation books because he like, I guess I'm not needed today. You know,
Right.
we, he wasn't needed. Saquon and Dallas Goddard with the crazy stiff arm
Stiff arm, right. Yeah.
linebacker. You know,
Right.
stiff arm the dude all the way to the end zone. Um,
Yep.
3 picks. We got, Quinyon Mitchell finally got his first pick in the end zone. Slay with the crazy pick. Slay said, I had no choice but to catch the ball. He threw it right at me. I'm like, exactly. And then he had, Zach Barn, our first team All Pro linebacker with his pick also. So, um, it was a great game for us defensively. It's a lot of stuff we got to clean up offensively when we go against the Rams. I expect to see a different offensive team, but it was definitely a good win. I expect a win, 12-point win, which was great. And then we just move on to Sunday. But speaking of Sunday, the Sunday night matchup. Um,
Yeah.
these Washington Commanders fans are jumping out the window.
Yes.
First playoff win in about what 16 years. So I mean,
19 years.
19 years. So definitely salute to them. Um, we have been talking about Jalen Daniels the whole season, and
Mm-hmm.
how like impressed we are with the young guy, and impressed with the Commanders' offense as a whole. I think the combination of Jalen Daniels and Lincoln Riley was definitely a smart move on Washington front office to pair those two guys together. And he's been exciting all season. You know, playing all the way down to the wire. I think this was like they fourth or sixth win on the last drive of the game, which is crazy. But as you were talking behind the scenes, it's a lot of magic, that's in that season. Hail Marys, like touchdown passes in the last seconds of the game, field goals in the last second of the game. It's a lot
Big
of magic.
defensive stops, right.
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of magic happening to the season, and these are the things that we expect. During wild card weekend. That's why they call it wild card because anything can happen. But what I had told left behind the scenes, I said that's that round. The second round, the divisional rounds, that's when the talent, rise to the top. It's more talent versus magic. So we will see how these guys will match up against Detroit next week. It should be interesting because Dan Campbell
You
is
see,
a
you see, you see what you see what Basky doing, right? You see what she doing.
see.
You see.
I'm just
Go ahead, Kimmy. Go ahead.
I'm just saying because Dan Campbell is a risk taker, and so are the Commanders. These are two teams that go
Uh huh.
for fourth down all the time. Them, my team, and the Bills, like we always go for fourth down. So it's going to be an interesting matchup to see that. But I definitely expect Detroit to take that. One crazy fact about that game, like I was telling Left, it was crazy seeing Baker Mayfield truck Bobby Wagner. That was crazy. But I'm gonna let Left
Yeah,
talk
that
about
was
his
that
team
was.
because there was a lot of
Yeah.
crazy drops. I didn't expect Tampa to lose that game, I was kind of surprised. But when by the time the second half came, it started to like shape up. Like it was getting out of control for Tampa. Tampa was losing control of the game, and we let you
Listen, check this out. I'm not gonna go on a tirade. I'm not mad. Salute Rev T. Salute. Salute my man Leonard. Salute. Salute all the Washington Commanders supporters and fans. Salute. A well earned win. Well deserved. You deserved it. You went on the road. You brought your rookie quarterback, who definitely wasn't the same guy that we saw the first weekend in September, right? He's grown. But my defense is the same defense you saw the first weekend in September.
definitely.
I'm not gonna, make any excuses. I never do, because I know I'm my team's worst critic. Yada Bear will tell you, I'm
Yeah,
my team's worst critic, man. You know
facts.
what I mean? I wasn't the one out there dropping passes. Shout out to Jalen McDaniels. I'm not and the kid Zay McCullum, the corner. Man, listen. Um, Again, you're out there playing guys who are ready to play, come to win. The Terry McLaurins of the world, the kid Brown who was killing us. He came out of nowhere. Every big first down they made, that kid Brown was on the receiving end.
Yeah,
Okay,
no
um,
doubt. Yeah,
you know, and Jaden Daniels made big plays. He was getting bloody. He was leaking. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And still, those guys found a way to win their first playoff win in what 7,000 days.
That's
That's a
crazy.
long time.
That's a
You know
super
what I
long
mean?
time.
Yeah. When you put it like that, 7,000 days they haven't had a playoff win.
Yeah,
Again, I just think that
crying,
the way
crying.
they got it, they grinded it out. But I'm not gonna take nothing away from my defense. My defense gave Washington 7 plays.
Yeah,
Yeah, 7 plays. I didn't freeze. 7 plays.
yeah.
And they couldn't get it, and they stopped them. And again, I mean, again, I'm all credit is due. A lot of people talked about Baker Mayfield and how he's turned around and he's done this and he's done that, but he ended up being what the same Baker Mayfield,
But
making
that's
a
what he is.
bad play at the worst time, right? A defense put us in position to
Yep,
get us back into this game. It was a lost cause.
yep.
But like I've been saying for the last 40, 50 years with my team, every game with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is like an episode of what? Batman.
Yeah,
You don't know what's going to happen at the end. Again, even with the field goal that the kid Zane Gonzalez hit, it doinked the clown
yeah.
off the upright,
It did.
and it went in.
It went in. I said, oh, I said,
Yeah.
when you see it hit the
So
upright at Jimmy, don't go in.
yeah. So again, I mean, um, the last 3 seasons, rookie quarterbacks have won playoff games, right? Brock Purdy, C.J. Stroud, and now we got Jaden Daniels.
Hmm.
So again, that speaks a lot to the rookie as a quarterback coming in and dealing with those bright lights and the big pressure, because we always talk about how the playoffs is a different animal. So
Hmm.
again, no disrespect to nobody, but I'm gonna call it like I see it. When you got cats like Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, C.J. Stroud, who was slept on because everybody was bigging up Bryce Young, which no disrespect to Bryce Young.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And now you got this kid, Jalen Daniels, who comes from that pedigree, that LSU, that big game, Bayou, this and that and the third. So he's in those situations. So I
Yeah.
say that to say, what about the other rookie quarterbacks who don't perform? Give them 2 years. Give them 3 years. There's a lot of pressure on those dudes that's coming in the game. Shador, you know what I
Change.
mean? All those guys. Look at Bo Nix. Yeah. Yeah, Skeeter Bite. Look at Bo Nix. But I ain't finished talking about my Buccaneers yet. Right? Ty Bowles. Again, you wasted time, homie. Oh, yeah, I watched the game. I'm a Buccaneers dude. I watched the game. Right? A lot of mistakes were made that you make during the regular season. Hopefully, you had 18 weeks to get those mistakes together. But they manifested at the wrong time again. Is Baker Mayfield the quarterback for us? He has to be right now. I'm not mad at Baker Mayfield. He got us there, right? Mike Evans, no disrespect to him. And the thing I'll say about Mike Evans this year from last year, I didn't really have to talk about a lot of drops.
Hmm.
Because remember, Mike Evans made a lot of drops last year, a lot of drops and a lot of big spots,
Yes.
right? He got his 1,000 again for the 11th straight year. Salute to him. Him and Jerry Rice. Salute. But I'm not here to big up Mike Evans for getting 1,000 yards again. I was looking forward to going to see this one over here.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to that. And again, once again, it wasn't meant to happen. Salute to my Buccaneers. Again, four-time NFC South champions. I'm tired of getting those shirts, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, we got to step our game up. And Ty Bowles, again, man, I'm tired of looking at you with that same look on your face, like you don't know what's going on or how did that happen. You know what I mean? He got that bewildered look on his face. You know what I mean? And again, man, I just we gonna rock with you. It's turned into Marvin Lewis out this piece.
Uh, I don't think he's
I
quite
mean, he makes the
that.
I mean he makes the playoffs, but again at the end of the day, when you gonna make the playoffs, if you gonna go out like that?
I mean, well, since we're there, the same thing we can say that same thing about Mike Tomlin. I think that the message that's coming from Mike Tomlin is going to deaf ears. It's stale in Pittsburgh. It's stale. I think
So does that mean Mike Tomlin has to go,
I
or he
think
got to
I
change the personnel?
well, how many times have you changed the personnel with the same results?
Hey man, listen,
The
Dosky. I
same
listen. That's a
result.
subject. That's a
But
subject right there. Now we want to talk about Mike Tomlin.
left,
Um,
left. Listen, they haven't got past the first round of playoffs in what 7 years, 6, 7 years. They have changed
how
offensive
many years was
coordinators.
how many years was Marvin Lewis in Cincinnati before they even made the
Yeah,
playoffs?
and he's gone. Now we're talking about Mike Tomlin, who's going through the same situation, but everybody has smoke for Marvin Lewis to leave. But everybody, oh, well, Mike Tomlin never had a losing season. Bro, you lose in the playoff every year. Every
I hear what you're
year.
saying, and you're right. I'm
Okay,
not mad at that.
so now to me, I'm looking at now. I have to look at Mike now. It's like, bro, don't you think like, aren't you tired of this same song and dance? You keep losing in the first round. Maybe you need a change. Maybe you're burnt out. Maybe you need to take a year off and see if this is something that you want to continue to do. Because you always have from Antonio Brown, from Le'Veon Bell, Juju, now Pickens. Like you get these quote unquote star players on offense, and they just not hearing your philosophy. Um, and then on the defensive side, again we get these names, the Watts. What happened to you, TJ?
Yeah, he disappeared, right?
What happened to you? During the game, I see you on the sideline. You holding your elbow. Like you always got some type of injury going on with you when at the wrong time. You know, the
Basket.
wrong, the wrong something's going on with you. Like something's happening. There's always something going on with this guy. When they need him the most. So when I look at the Steelers as a whole, Pittsburgh got that same philosophy. Oh, we only had three coaches. Chuck Noll,
That's right.
Bill Cowher, and now Mike Tomlin. But
And what does that got you?
exactly,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, times have changed. You can't keep using that old philosophy and thinking that you are going to be successful. Look around the league. The league has changed. You know, people have to spend money. people have to get younger at certain positions. You might need you might need a young, a younger coach that can relate to these players coming into the league now. These guys coming in the league are getting younger and younger. That they're not coming in as like professional grown ups. They are still growing as an adult as they making millions of dollars in this league playing this game. So I'm thinking, it's still you got to make a change, and I think like keep changing coordinators is not helping because you get the same result because the same guy who's running the ship is still there. And I'm not saying that they should fire him. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just looking at Mike like, yo, Mike, maybe you need to take time away, take a year off. You know, enjoy your family for like a year. You've been grinding in Pittsburgh for what, almost what, 14, 15 years that he been in
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh? That's a long time.
16.
Like, yeah, like 16 years. That's a long time. And what do you have to show for it? What two rings and like in the early part of your career? Like you haven't.
Those are the Ben Roethlisberger years.
Yeah, like and after Ben, you haven't recovered. You haven't got a quarterback since Ben. You've been struggling at that position all like the whole entire time. So I feel like the way that we gave Marvin Lewis smoke, because I was giving Marvin Lewis a bunch of smoke because I
Mm-hmm.
said like it's time for him to go. They needed to change.
All right, it
I
said
gotta
that
give
he
the
had some
same smoke
pictures of
to
somebody or
Mike
something.
Tomlin. I gave the same smoke to Andy Reid when he was here in Philly. Listen, Hall of Fame coaches have been fired or let go or just took or resigned. It's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you gotta take some time away, and I think it's time for him to step away. And it's one. I know it's hard for these Steelers fans to hear that and to realize that, but it's still it's going to be.
Hmm.
I feel like if he's there next season, it's going to be the same result. You're going to be battling to win the division in the North. Playoff come, you might win the division. You might be in a wild card, and guess what? One first round out. It's going to continue to be a first round out. That's how I
Yeah,
look at
I
it.
mean, you made very, 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 very valid points, and I definitely agree with that. You know what I mean? But I think that Mike Tomlin may be the one who needs to change the scenery instead of the Steelers at this point. Maybe yeah, but I mean, who do you get to go in there to fill those shoes, and then is he gonna just kind of like just take the year off and just chill and parlay, or do you see another situation for him because he'll be snatched up? He'll
Mm-hmm.
get snatched up quick.
Oh, he would definitely get
So
snatched up quick, but I just a change of scenery, man. Change of scenery, and then they have to also make decisions about Russell Wilson. He said that he wants to come back, and you got Justin Fields there, so it's just a crazy situation. I just feel like sometimes you may have to just blow it all up to build it back up, and if they decide to blow it all up, they need to start from the top. Like Mike Tomlin shouldn't be there for the blow up. Step away. Like you did a lot there. You accomplished a lot there.
right, absolutely, that's true. Absolutely true. Um, Rams gave the Vikings the business. Like we talked about, Sam Darnold, was turning into the Sam
Bust.
Darnold that we all know.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, made the Rams. The Rams had what 9 sacks.
Nine sacks, a
It was
pick,
crazy.
six.
Yeah, it was crazy. Um, I feel like the Rams. The Rams look good. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But are the Rams that good? You know what I mean? And it's just like they ran up against a Vikings team that just kind of like got the punched in the mouth early, and it just snowballed. I mean, the thing with the where they moved the game to Arizona, and then with the situation going on in L.A. and that kind of like amped up the set a little bit for the Rams and gave them that extra battery in their back, and kind of like the Vikings just kind of got steamrolled. But then Kevin O'Connell, where people talk about coach of the year, like like Sean McVay took him to school.
Definitely took him to school. I mean, that messed up his run for coach of the year. It kind of messed up Sam Darnold's bag because you know
Oh
before
yeah, oh yeah, his
before
bag
that
took a major hit.
yeah,
Hmm.
before that Detroit game, they was like, oh, Sam probably can get high 40s, maybe 50
Right,
a year.
right, right,
Nah,
right.
now he looked like he might get that Baker Mayfield contract that somewhere around
And again,
and I
he's
think
a Baker Mayfield type dude.
yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I see Sam Darnold, Sam Darnold reminds me of a young Kirk Cousin.
Hmm.
He could get you there, but he's not going to be the reason why you win. You know, he didn't show up during prime time. I mean, we saw it against Detroit in the last game of the season. They needed that game to get the bye. They went out there and Detroit stumped them. They
Hmm.
ran all over these guys. And that just carried on to on Sunday because they look exactly the same. Sam Darnold's out there like he's seen ghosts. Like he was running into sacks. He was sacking himself. It was
He was second
crazy.
himself.
It, it, it was crazy out there. Kevin O'Connell. I don't know what the game plan was. It had zero running
Right,
game.
right, right.
The offensive line was given. They gave up 9 sacks. That's crazy.
9.
I have to credit like at least two of them to Sam Darnold because he had happy feet as soon as he got the ball. He was like dude, what's going on? Just
Like we
wait
talked
like
about that a
this is
couple
our
weeks ago with
season.
Sam Darnold. He was going back to his old ways and stuff like that. So I was
Yeah,
like, yo,
he stepped
the
he
Vikings
stepped
are going to be
out.
in trouble.
Listen,
You know what I mean?
look. He stepped in the game in the Vikings jersey, but each quarter the color started fading into that New York Jets
To
green.
the degree.
And by the time the fourth quarter came, he had a New York Jets jersey on out there.
Well, word up, man. We in the building doing what we do, man, on Tuesday night. Myself and Yada Bear. Um, we got Skeeter Bite in the building. Salute to the homie. He wants us to talk about the Denver Broncos so bad.
Yeah,
So we're gonna talk about the
we're
Denver.
gonna talk about the
I mean,
Broncos.
we could talk about the Broncos. I mean, again, they had a great season. Nobody, I said it, and I'm gonna say it again on the show in case you didn't hear me, Skeeter. I said the Broncos were the 12th team in the college football playoffs.
Yeah,
That's what I said. And they kind of sort of played like it, B. Let's keep it green.
they gave you that.
Like they scored the first 7 points of the game. It's like, oh snap, Denver's coming to play.
They gave you that SMU vibe.
And yeah, yeah, they gave that up in the corner,
Get the boys in the
up,
corner.
up in the bleacher vibe. They put the band up in the bleachers. Um, I mean, Bo Nix, he went through it, but again, we just talked about Jaden Daniels. We just talked about Brock Purdy. You know what I mean? We just talked about those guys those rookies who stepped in and done their thing. Bo Nix, he got there. Sean Payton is the right guy to coach Bo Nix, I think, because Sean Payton is a quarterback guy. Their defense, definitely they didn't have their best game. You know what I mean? I put a lot of respect on Pat Surtain. The second, I put a lot of respect on him. I put a lot of respect on what they're doing in Denver. I think that this year it was just the year where they kind of like stretched their boundaries to see how far they can go. All
I
right, because after last year was an abomination. They had to kind of like do a 180, and I think they kind of did that. So salute to the Denver Broncos. Go
yeah,
ahead, Browski.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean last year was bananas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Last year was
You know what I'm
wild.
saying?
I definitely think they are. ahead of their curve. You know, they
Okay.
definitely
Okay.
played. You know, we didn't expect it. We didn't see this from the Broncos. You know, we
No, not at all.
I
Nope.
didn't
Not
expect
from
it
them.
from them.
Not this year.
Yeah, and it was a surprise. They had a really good season.
Hmm.
They got some stuff to to clean up. I always emphasize in the draft, especially when you already have your franchise quarterback. You gotta get this offensive line together. You know, you gotta get them together, and their wide receiver situation is a little funny to me. We look at Cortland Sutton
Hmm.
like he's supposed to be the man, but sometimes it's like, is he really the guy? Can they
Hmm.
improve at that position?
What about the kid? What about the kid Mims?
Same thing. Like Mims, he's like a gadget guy to me. He's fast,
Hmm.
but it's like, what else is he? Like, is he a number one receiver? Like, I don't think so. Um, Maybe they are, excuse me, a free agent acquisition away at wide receiver or a trade away at wide receiver. Excuse me, but I they found a quarterback. It's crazy that once John Elway is away from the team, they found a quarterback and they're successful. You know, because the whole entire time Elway was there, after the Peyton
There was
Manning
garbage.
experiment, they couldn't find a quarterback. They was trash.
Right.
You have your franchise, his historical franchise player can't find a quarterback for the team. He leaves, they're in the playoffs. So you can say you can say what you want to say about that. But I see the future is bright for Denver. Their defense is really good. They just didn't show up. And I mean, it's the Bills. you know, they ran into
Yeah.
a team that is on fire. Um, he was just getting any and everything that he wanted. James Cook had a day, great day rushing the ball, and the defense. The defense showed up. But I don't worry, Bronco fans. It's not gonna be all bad unless Bo Nick's going to a sophomore slump. But I
Hmm.
I like him. I think he's gonna be really good there. And like I said, I think Denver will be okay. I think with the emergence of Bo Nix, I think that AFC West was going to be competitive again.
And the Broncos might, but because everybody's waiting for the Chargers to kind of like be that second thing to Kansas City, but
Yeah, but
Denver might leapfrog over them. And one more thing before we get out of here on Denver, keep those Orange Crush uniforms, the
oh
old
yeah, I
school
love him.
joints.
I love him.
Those uniforms almost kind of like running the neck and neck with my Buccaneers orange joints because those when they play in those orange uniforms right there,
He's
it
going to be
kind of,
fire.
it throws you back. It goes
Yeah,
those other uniforms. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not really
Orange Crush is
feeling
on
those,
fire.
yo.
Yeah, Orange
You know
Crush
what
is
I
on
mean? But
fire.
the orange crush joints,
Yeah,
flavor.
yeah,
Down in Sports Talk, man, we're in the building doing what we do on a Tuesday night. You already know. National championship game coming up on Monday night.
yes.
Um, did watch the semifinals, man. You missed a couple of very, very good ball games. The first one was Thursday night, Notre Dame over Penn State, which was an instant classic.
It was.
Definitely great game. Then you had Friday was Ohio State over Texas. They did what
Another
they had to
game.
do.
Yeah, two
The
good
Notre
games.
Dame Penn State game. Somebody said it was going to be a blowout. I don't know who that was. But somebody said it was going to be a decent game, and it turned out to be a. Or to me, Browski, that was an all-time classic. Because again, when those things happen, when the game goes back and forth like that, that's the definition of a classic.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
seconds left in the game.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, you know what's crazy?
Yeah, you
Because
know what I mean.
I was
Uh huh.
extremely critical of James Franklin, and in my mind, I said, if these guys get blown out, he gotta get fired. But even though they
Right.
lost, I think he still have his job. I think he's still going. I think he's safe. Um, but I did say that whoever had the ball within the last 2 minutes of the
Last,
game,
right?
and I feel like the game would be tied. It's gonna come down to a
Mm-hmm.
field
Mm-hmm.
goal, and that's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
exactly what happened. I said,
What
"This
happened? Right?
crazy." Um,
Yeah.
sometimes James Franklin's decision making sometimes is like that's the one thing that I question a lot. Like he had a couple. I'm like, he could have went about it a different way, but I mean, it was a classic. It was a really good game. I think it was better than Ohio State and Texas game. I was
Yeah.
kind of shocked.
They
Texas
tried, but
came
every
out
time Texas tried
bad.
to get back in the game, Ohio State punched them in the mouth.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and Texas didn't come out like with that fire that that we've seen all year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was surprised that Ohio State defense was able to control the game like they did against Texas. Because after the performance they had against Oregon, you're like, wow, can this team do this back to back weeks? And Texas is also high power offense too. They didn't come out firing all cylinders, and Ohio State they put the clamps on them boys. I said, oh,
Mm.
and that pick at the end, like the pick right there when Texas was driving. Cause I'm like, oh, I said, oh, well, Texas about to score. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking to myself, this about to go into overtime. Like this is gonna be crazy. He picked
Right.
that off. I said, oh, I said, well, there
Yep.
you go.
Ball game. Team
Yep.
done.
I
Yep.
said,
That's
boom,
it.
boom, it's over.
That's it.
So now you got
All right.
Ohio
So
State.
what are we what are we thinking? Ohio State and Penn State. What are we thinking?
You
So,
mean
I mean,
Ohio
old
State Notre
school
Dame?
matchup,
Ohio
huh?
State Notre Dame.
Ohio State Notre Dame. I'm sorry, Ohio State Notre Dame.
Yeah, definitely an old school matchup. Rivalry. South Bend, Indiana, Ohio State. Back and forth. I gotta rock with Ohio State. Ohio State has shown me, um, not only throughout this playoffs, but the season that they the real deal. And for all you people out there that was very critical of this 12 team playoffs,
Like myself,
each word, it was amazing. It was good. This was
it
really
was good.
good. This was really good. Like it reminds me of the NFL wild card. The first round is like anything can happen. Some teams gonna get blown out. We seen it last weekend. Some teams got blown out. Some teams, some games went down to the wire. And then the second round, it was like, all right, now these are the 8 teams. Like now we cut the fat. Now we here with the meat and potatoes. And then when it came down to the final four, it's like these are the teams that we expected to see in the final four, and we got two great games. And now we're gonna have a real. I feel like we're gonna have a really good national title game, and I think Ohio State gonna take it because they defense has just shown me that they have the ability to shut down, anybody, you know. And definitely salute to Notre Dame and Notre Dame head coach because this is his first season there, and look what he did. One season. This is crazy. He turned Notre Dame, um, you know, program around, made them a legit powerhouse again. So I'm going with Ohio State. Well, who you going with on that game?
Um, you know what? I'm gonna rock with um
Go ahead,
Notre
say it.
Dame.
I knew you was gonna say it. Go ahead.
I'm gonna rock with Notre Dame for the simple fact that um, Notre Dame kind of showed me something in that game against Penn State. They were down, they came back,
Yeah.
um, and I think that this is the ultimate contest right here coming up for Notre Dame. Um, Ohio State. the kind of like the creme de la creme of the college football situation back on top. This is not a referendum on Ryan Day. A lot of people were trying to get Ryan Day up out of here. Now he's playing for a national championship. Like you said, the kid Freeman, doing his thing at Notre Dame. That would be great for him to win the national
That
championship.
would
And
be
that
great
would
for you.
just like, it like, oh my goodness. But I think Notre Dame is going to win. I think it's going to be a very, very good game. But I think Notre Dame is going to win.
Okay. All right.
Um, Before we get down on it, we still got a few more minutes to go in the show. Um, we was going to talk about some basketball, but I think that we're going to talk about um, the divisional playoff games that's coming up this weekend because we want to get into that a little bit. Because I know Browski wants to talk about the Eagles some
Yeah.
more. You know what I mean? And I ain't mad at that because you deserve it, yo. So again, we're gonna give you the space to let you do what you do. All right. What are we looking at Saturday?
Saturday. Well, who not Saturday? What was it? Chiefs.
Houston and Kansas City.
Yeah. A lot of people just think that the Chiefs gonna run through Houston. Um, I don't see it that way. I'm thinking that Houston kind of found their momentum a little bit, found their footing. Um, that was the Houston team that I had expected to see all season how they dominated the Chargers. That's what the team I was looking for at the beginning of the season, and they saved it for the playoffs. So, do I think Houston will beat the Chiefs? No, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. How people, I think they start the line at like 9.5. I don't think it's going to be that much of a blowout. Mm, yeah, I don't see that. I'm hoping, praying that maybe Houston could shock the world, and get the Chiefs out of there. But most likely, I see the Chiefs. I feel like Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid combo. It's just always too much. Travis Kelsey, Hollywood Browns. I just feel it's just a little too much for any team. So I gotta go with the Chiefs, even though I don't want to. I'm hoping for an upset, but it's probably going to be the Chiefs. I mean, besides the Eagles game, the game I'm looking forward to most is this Bills Ravens game. You know, this is basically how they want to marquee it. They playing for not only the battle of the MVPs, but the battle of who gonna knock off the Chiefs. Everybody looking at whoever wins this game is gonna go to the Super Bowl. I'm definitely looking forward to that game. The last time they played earlier this year, um, I believe what Baltimore beat them. I think they ran through them guys. I think
They
Derrick
went.
Henry
They
had,
they beat the they beat the
yeah, the
sugar
brakes
honey
off
iced
them.
tea out
Yeah,
of them.
yeah. They I feel like Derrick Henry had like a fantastic game, but it's going to be interesting because now they don't have Zay Flowers. Like I don't know if Zay Flowers gonna be back. On Sunday. I don't think so. That's not that knee injury. Um, it should be interesting, and you know, how far can Baltimore go rely heavy on Lamar Jackson and um, Derrick Henry, running the ball all the time. Um,
Shoot, you crazy. I think that's what they got Derrick Henry for.
no, I get it. You know, see, looking at Baltimore, it's kind of like very similar to the Eagles situation, where you have this super talented running back that he's going to get the ball. You know that Buffalo is going to load the box. But then you also have your quarterback and Lamar Jackson, who's super evasive. Like it's like sometimes seeing this guy run, it's like is he running in slow motion? Like is he running
Mm.
fast? Because it's like nobody can tackle this guy. So it's going to be extremely interested, and I'm actually going with Baltimore beating the Bills. Um, I kind of feel like this is Lamar, versus Patrick for like the eighth time. These guys keep battling each other, and it's like eventually Lamar going to get over the hump. Like is Lamar going to get over the hump? Um, and I just I gotta rock with Baltimore. Like I'm trying to be positive with Lamar. I'm thinking, with the addition of with Derrick Henry that they can finally, get over the hump. Like I don't want to hear no more MVP talk. I don't like if he wins another MVP. Like I'm tired of Lamar winning MVPs. You gotta win the AFC.
That's
Like
like the Atlanta Braves just to win wild division titles.
yeah, and never win the World Series.
But
So it's like I don't want you to win the MVP anymore. Like I want you to at least get to the AFC Championship game. At least get to that part, and
mhm.
maybe you get over the hump. So I don't know.
What's your thoughts on the NFC games? Commanders, Lions, Rams. We saved Rams, Eagles for last. Go ahead. I know.
Commanders line, like I said, I don't know. It's like everybody super heavy on Detroit. Crazy Detroit. My thing is Dan Campbell is the wild card because he does wild stuff in games. Um, he'll go out there and he'll have his offensive lineman as a primary receiver running route. Like what's happening? Like what are we doing? He'll go out there and do a fake punt.
Or second down.
Yeah, like deep in his territory. It'd be a fake punt in his territory. Like what
But
are we doing? Um, so I think it's going to be an entertaining game. Um, my biggest concern for the Commanders is can they stop the run? You know, you got Gibbs, um,
Montgomery, right?
Montgomery. I think they said Montgomery should be back for Sunday. So now you got that two-headed monster you got to deal with. I think they got a couple guys coming back on the defensive end. Not Aiden Hutchinson. I don't see him coming back at all. But it's like, can they stop the run? And can they maintain scoring against the Lions? Because the Lions going to put up points.
Right.
You know,
You can't put up a bunch of threes while they putting up sevens.
exactly. So, like,
Right.
to me, the Lions and the Chiefs are, like, kind of on that same wavelength. Like, Chiefs scoring seven, you guys score seven. Lions scoring seven, you guys score seven. Like you said, you can't put up a bunch of threes and they going in and scoring touchdowns. They
Hmm.
ain't going to do nothing. Just you will always be trailing. So that's going to be Washington's biggest hurdle is can they keep up the score? I don't think they can. I think Detroit is probably going to get these guys out of there. Probably by the time like the first half is over. We probably by the time the first half is over, we probably going to see what this outcome of this game going to be. Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna make this real quick. Then we gotta get to the get down on it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna make this really quick. The Chiefs gonna blow out the Texans. The Lions gonna blow out the Commanders.
Okay.
The Eagles Rams game is gonna be fairly close to the second half. Saquon's gonna run like a 60 yarder, get them out of here. And the best game of the day is gonna be Buffalo and Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to beat the hell out of the Buffalo Bills again.
Yeah. I think so
So I got the Buffalo Bills watching again
too.
somebody else playing the AFC Championship game, which is going to be Lamar Jackson, right, against Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship. In the NFC Championship, you're going to have the Detroit Lions. Shout out to Sir Tice. Shout out to Rocker Bash, right? Against the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship.
Okay.
That's just how how we see it.
Yeah.
Again, I think that the momentum is finally carried to. when they say this weekend, the divisional round is the best weekend, it is.
It
I
is.
think that the Texans, I remember them going into Baltimore. I think it was last year they went into Baltimore,
Yeah,
and they got fed a dose of reality.
they sure did.
That's what's going to happen when they get to Kansas City.
Hmm.
The Chiefs are going to feed you to the dose of reality, and that their season will be over. They'll talk about the great season they had and all of that. The same thing's going to happen to the Washington Commanders when they go into Detroit. The Detroit Lions crowd is going to be ravenous.
Hmm.
It's going to be crazy, right?
Hmm.
Because again, they win this game. They host the NFC Championship.
Hmm.
So that's why that crowd is going to be crazy. It's going to be electric in there, and I think that it's going to be those games are going to be over early. The Rams Eagles game, I think is going to be more kind of a sort of like maybe a little bit better than the Packers game. I think the Packers kind of like got that opening kickoff and the kid fumbled. That took the air out of the balloon early.
Yeah.
I think the Rams, they're going to have the momentum on their side coming off that big defensive showing against the Vikings. But it's outside.
Hmm.
It ain't inside.
It's cold. It's cold here in Philly.
Oh,
It's really
that's the
cold.
deal. That's the
Cold.
scenario right there,
It's
right?
it's 20 degrees outside
It's gonna
right
be
now.
cold. That ground gonna be hard,
That ground hard.
right?
Abby hit
So
or
yeah,
hurt extra.
absolutely. So I
And
think that the
and the
Eagles are
running
gonna
back,
win,
what you call him, little hurt too.
huh?
The Rams running back, he got banged up. He got a little
Okay,
banged up in that game, you know.
okay.
And it's a short week. They're traveling cross country to Philly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they played Monday night. You know that Monday night game was a killer. And
Mm-hmm.
I said I wouldn't want to play on Monday night. That's crazy.
Hmm.
That's an extra, a super short week. Traveling across country, coming to Philly on Sunday when it's gonna
No
be like
doubt.
20 degrees outside.
Yep.
Man, I don't know.
But I hope they can remember what they're playing for, and that could bring them extra hand warmers and all of that type of stuff right there like that,
Hmm.
and they can make this thing happen, and get it cracking, and give us two, actually four great divisional playoff games.
Yeah.
We're about to get up out of here. I'm left-handed. That's Yada Bear over there, right? We're gonna get down on it. What you getting down on this week, Yada Bear?
So I am definitely getting down on the Unrivaled League kicking off on Friday on TNT.
All right.
I am excited for this. The rollout for this league has been really good. They've been all over social media, doing a media day, team photo shoots and stuff like that. Like I said last week, the jerseys are fire. The arena looks fire. The setup look kind of cool. It kind of gives you that big three um, type of vibe. How like the court is set up. Um, what's wild is the ticket prices is crazy high. You know,
What?
yeah, and I'm thinking maybe it's because it's the opening weekend, whatever. But the tickets is like some tickets like $600 a ticket.
Get them.
Yep, and but what's crazy is they said the shit is damn near sold out.
What, they let you sit on the bench with them or something like
Yeah,
$500?
but like I said, it seemed like the layout of the court and stuff, how they have it laid out, it's kind of similar to like the big three. So like you're like really like close, you know. But I'm
Man, listen,
like,
I,
and as
I
far as
listen.
prices
I
go,
have to
man,
be
that's
in their
wild.
locker. Like,
No,
don't
no.
play with me. five
I
hundred
said,
dollars.
if I'm paying $600 for some 3-on-3 basketball, I better be able to coach. I need to
Basket.
get a turn out there to coach. Okay.
You know what I mean? Word up. You're right. You're right.
But
Absolutely. That's right.
I'm definitely excited for it. I, you know, just to anything to spotlight women's basketball. I'm there for it. We get to see combinations that we are dreaming to see. Like we get to see like Angel Reese and uh, I think what's she on the team with? I think it's Angel. I think it's Vakia Jackson. Like you just get a lot of play combinations that we never thought we'd see before. So it's gonna be cool
Mm.
to see how they play together. Um, it's gonna be interesting to see how the growth of some of these rookies that that came in last season. See, this will help grow their game on a personal level. Um, I'm just excited for it. This the hype around it is really cool. I'm glad that they on national TV. We get to see them play, and I'm just hype about it. Also, a quick side note.
Mm.
Um, it was a wild, crazy story about Caitlin Clark. Being stalked by some guy was
Yeah,
stalking Caitlin Clark.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
crazy, like sending crazy messages,
Hmm.
like
At
being
the
around
yep. Hmm.
like her crib and shit like that. I said, yo, that's
Yeah,
that's wild, and it just always come to mind like you definitely gotta be safe and be aware of your surroundings. And
absolutely.
there's a lot of like weirdos out there, a lot of creeps out there, and
Yeah,
I'm, I'm
yep.
just I'm just glad that they was able to get that situation handled before it took a crazy turn because
Right.
that was
If
wild to
if
me.
somebody can start Caitlin Clark, I mean, but I mean, be careful out
Careful
there.
out there,
Right,
man.
for real. Word up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Again, we want to mention we're sending out strength of light to the people out in LA, man,
yeah,
affected by those fires out there, man.
yeah, man.
Just hopefully that everything can be taken care of in a timely manner. It's not going to be done by tomorrow. You know what I mean? But we want the people to know that people on this side of the country, man, is thinking about them, pulling for them, and stuff like that. And it's dope. I think that all these firefighters are coming from different parts of the world, let
Hmm.
alone the country, to help deal with this. Um, this is what I want to get down on, and this is what I want to get down on this in the positive light. Shout out to AJ Brown. AJ Brown was getting his Abbott Elementary on, sitting on the sideline. I mean, and a lot of people, oh well, if he would have had 10 catches for 150 yards, he wouldn't have been sitting on the sideline reading a book. I think that AJ Brown found something useful to do with his time.
um,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And reading the book is a lot better than ripping
Screaming
off
on the
your
sideline.
your jersey and your shoulder pads and walking off the field half naked. It's better than that.
AJ
Um,
Brown.
it's about time that somebody, we talk about AJ Brown in a positive light because
Yeah,
usually when it's AJ Brown, it's like, oh, what did he do now?
yeah,
You know what I mean? If it's not, he doesn't want to, get traded or he doesn't want to be here no more. It's always about some other stuff. But when you talk about, and because I'm a reader. I'm big on books. I'm a big reader. I read a lot. You know what I mean? And to see that was kind of, to me, was dope. I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't, paying attention to what was going on around him. But just kind of like,
now
I don't know what to call it. You know what I
what,
mean?
what's crazy is a lot of people was like trying to like, oh, he's disengaged with the team. They're trying to make a big deal of it, but when Coach Sirianni, when they asked him about it at the press conference, he said he does it all the time. He says, he give his players space to, uh, um, you know, how to
Do
say it?
them.
Yeah, like to basically do. He said, some players when on the sideline they pray a lot. They pray. They
Hmm.
play. This is how he gets in his mindset. Like he reads inspirational quotes, and that's what AJ said. AJ also mentioned that this is not the first time that he has done that. He said he's been doing it
Right.
all season. He said it's the first time that you guys seen that it was on camera. He said he always have the book with him. He said he had several books with him, and this was just one that he was particularly reading at that time for those quotes. I said,
Two more things, real quick, before we get out of here. Shout out to AJ Brown. Oh God, I forgot my train of thought. I was the Buffalo Bills.
mm-hmm.
Why are the Buffalo Bill players always being stretched out on the ground? If it's not DeMar Hamlin,
Oh
it's
God.
somebody else. If
Yeah.
it's like, and I had something else. I had my train of thought. I was trying to remember, but the Buffalo Bills, man, it's always something with those somebody. They always being stretched out. The Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and I just wanted to speak to that real quick. I forgot what I was getting ready to say, but anyway, down in Sports Talk, we in the building. We'll get at y'all next Tuesday night. Myself,
Yes.
Yada Bear over there. We're going to start talking about some basketball. Get that into the building.
Yeah. Start after.
And we're going to need. Go ahead.
Yeah. I said yeah, basketball because the season to me don't start till after the All Star break.
That's absolutely, absolutely. So we can get into that a little bit. And basically that. Anything that you want to touch on before we get up out of here, Browski?
Oh, Canelo versus Crawford, September, I believe. If
Is
I'm
that
not,
official?
they they they. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it a lot.
I saw a couple
I
of things
saw it a
about it.
lot. I've been looking and I don't know if I've seen it on ESPN yet, but I believe I saw it on I saw it what was it on Bleacher Report.
Hmm.
So it's been a lot of talk, So yeah, yeah, they said they reportedly agreed September in Vegas.
Okay, that's what it is. So you already know. So
There
we're
we
gonna
go.
get that thing popping.
We
Canelo
gotta
and
fight. We
Terrence
gotta
Crawford. We got to
fight.
fight.
No, that's what I'm
Hey,
saying. We've
hey,
been
hey,
waiting for a
Tank,
fight.
we got to fight. Hey, Shakur Stevenson, we got to fight.
We gotta fight.
Hey, Devin Haney, we got to fight.
We gotta
You know
fight.
what I mean?
Hey, Jamel
So that's what it
Charlo.
is.
He gotta fight.
And yeah, absolutely. You better pay attention for us. I said the homie to slap the hell out of you.
Okay.
Um, we out of here. We'll talk to y'all next week. Down in Sports Talk. Left handed in the building. At RM Des on Twitter, which is this right now. That's Yada Bear over there, aka Browski, aka Philly's Philly in the building. You already know what it is. We about to get out of here. Don't go anywhere, Kimmy. Don't go nowhere. We are out, and we will talk to y'all next week. Salute to the homie Skeeter Bite for tapping in.
Yes, salute,
All right.
salute.
Salute, salute, salute. All right. Peace.